Hey guys, Beast here, and today we're going to be going over the Fastway adventure pegs. But first, let's go over kind of a quick little journey of what we had to do to get the pegs and the mounting bracket and everything up to snuff. Hey guys, well, first thing first, one of the things you probably remember back from a Maxpedition bag video I did where I was riding around the KLR and had to use my toolkit. The bolts started coming loose on here, and so when I got home I discovered that the previous owner had tried to drill out the hole of the foot peg mounting area here on the frame, and because of that you lose the little square nut, and so it looked like he had tried to cut in threads. And so you'll see here, I tried to do the same thing. It just doesn't work. There isn't enough holding metal here. So what I ended up doing is I ground out the bottom box end of the foot peg bracket with the cutoff wheel, put in some grade 8 bolts. There's kind of give or take, you can go with grade 5, they'll bend before they break. Grade 8 has a higher shear strength. I decided to go with that. Because I had a bigger one in the back already, I did choose to just keep that as a large one and then got a smaller one up front. So I do have to modify a few things here. But overall strength, hands down, I always put a little bit of a little tack, a little weld there to see how it's loosening. As you can see with this lowering bracket, we'll get that into a different review here, but this lowering bracket here, I put it in a tack and it's split right there. So it's got a little bit of shifting, so I'll grind those off on this build and add a fresh sort of welding tack just to make sure those don't go anywhere. So I've got grade 8 bolts and nuts inside here, so this thing is bulletproof at this point. Hey guys, well, one of the first modifications I did was the actual KLR bracket, the foot peg bracket here. This little cross piece in the bottom that cuts across wouldn't let the foot peg come back all the way there, so that got cut off pretty quick. The stock KLR pegs are atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. They're great for commuting, and that's it. That's where it stops. Great for commuting. Or have your girlfriend on the back, because they're the exact same pegs for the passengers. So what did I do? KLR owner, somewhat of a budget, conscious on stuff, doesn't want to just throw a lot of money into dual sporting, which he knows nothing about. So I go with the IMS pegs. They're adventure pegs, I think. I'll put in a picture of them compared to the stock ones. They're great. They allow you to stand up for longer. I don't think we're going down there. They allow you to stand up for longer. Maybe not all day, but hours at a time. Good traction, great bargain, but they're gonna eat your boots up. I even tried filing them down a little bit. They're gonna chew your boots up, and I just went and put some money on some wonderful boots, trying to really get myself into the sport, knowing that safety gear is going to be needed when you're a new dual sport rider or an old dual sport rider. Let's go out the main road. So, how do you keep cheap pegs from eating your really expensive boots? Well, you get rid of them. I tried a few other things and it didn't work. They were chewing up my Toucans, Alpenstar Toucans, which are a phenomenal boot. Absolutely worth every penny. What we decided to go with the Fastway ADV pegs for the KLR650. I think I just watched Everride's review on a set of pegs that he was using. I believe they were the Warp 9. I could be incorrect on that. And he absolutely loved the giant aircraft carrier stance that they had. I believe that's what he called it. And of course, your biggest downsides is they're going to stick out farther from the bike. So potentials of catching them on things in a deep rut. I don't know where you'd find deep ruts like that. Mostly when I get out in the desert, it's all the sagebrush that may be hiding a big old volcanic rock. That and price is really it. That's where the downsides stop. Everything else is phenomenal. These are expensive pegs. They're more expensive than I think the ones Everride had reviewed. Biggest reason I went with these pegs was a little bit of the customization. You'll see some photos where the cleats are interchangeable. I was still worried about maybe the possibility of being too aggressive on my boots. The main reason was they integrated a lowering feature. And up until that point last year, nobody had a good lowering peg for the KLR. I didn't like any of them. So as you can see, it isn't much. It's about a ½ inch or so, whether or not you put the collar on the top or the bottom. So right now I have the main collar on top, and that slides the foot peg all the way down. Some of them used weak hardware. Some of them put you way below the frame. Really just ridiculous. And because I'm a tall rider and I had decent bars and I went through different risers, but lowering the pegs was definitely a big help. And it's saving my back. It's giving me better performance, better just stance on the motorcycle. I can really get up over the bars and allow me to utilize the pegs for what they're for. Hey guys, well there you have it. Fastway makes a terrific product, really top quality. I've only actually lost one of those little mounting things, and I've got spares around here somewhere. These all did get Loctited in. You can probably see from an earlier photo there, there's a bunch of red Loctite dripping off of these when I installed them. They've got some scuffs, some dings, but I love the larger platform. Let me put in a quick little video of the Alpenstar Corazal, I think they call them. The boots I've been rocking since the springtime after my unfortunate incident with the toucans falling apart. But you can tell I've got well over 4,000 miles on those boots, and there isn't even a scratch. And I have a feeling that they're even a cheaper pair than the toucans. So these things offer so much grip. I literally had to put my foot down in Arizona in this big soupy mud pit. My boots were just covered in this Arizona mud and clay. And I still, instant traction, didn't even have to like knock the boots off, just put my foot back on the peg, dropped it back into first gear and carried through the mud hole. And these things are just phenomenal. They have such a large space, so all that large mud and debris, even though these aren't sharp, they offer great traction. Again, modifications, you can make the center taller if you want to get that rocking feeling. So instead of going with the pivot pegs, you can put a taller row in here. You can add spikes. But again, for me, longevity, for more of an adventure motorcycle, I'm not going to do that simply because you're going to go through boots too much. All right, again, one of the other great features with the Fastway here is you're able to control, I guess, the pitch angle of where it rests at sort of its stock height. So in here is a adjustment screw. Essentially, you're going to get washers or spacers on there. So the further out that you put that, the less it's going to actually rest all the way down, and the greater that angle is going to hold again. So it naturally puts your feet at a sort of inclined position, keeping your knees and your thighs close onto the bike. It doesn't make you feel like you're going to fall off on the outside. You can just kind of adjust just a little bit. You can see I've got it, I think a couple of the spacers in there, you know, nothing too crazy, but you definitely, a little bit goes a long way, and you definitely notice it. So you stand on the pegs and you automatically, you know, your feet's rolling into the bike. You get this nice tight position on the motorcycle. And that is a great feature of the Fastway. I don't know that I would necessarily say the Fastway lowering kit here is worth the extra money over like the Warp 9s, but I do love the quality. I love the setups on here because I did eventually go with a lowering kit. We'll do that in a later review. But hands down, this is one of the best mods if you're going to be up on your pegs all day riding across multiple states and to beyond. Hey guys, just want to give you a huge thank you for the continued support that you always give me. We'll be putting out more content as always, everything from the high Arctic down to Antarctica and everywhere in between for our adventures on two wheels. We'll catch you down the road. Thanks again, guys.